This must be important for the city of Fayetteville to come. Hmm? All right, I'd like to welcome everybody that's filled up the room tonight. This is good. There's only a few seats left in here for anybody else that would like to come. And for those that are watching us live stream, appreciate both of you looking into our regular meeting tonight. We'll continue on in our regular meeting with the budget workshop, and then we have some business items as well that we'll discuss tonight. So, I'm going to call a meeting to order. Please stand for the invocation by Pastor Ricky Harrell, and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let me see. Motion to approve.
Have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
All in favor? Seeing none opposed, the agenda is approved as presented. We go right into official comments. Manager's report. We'll start with Chancellor.
Thank you, Mayor, fellow commissioners, and I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening to our monthly board meeting and our viewing public on our live stream. The manager's report for May 18th. When the people unite, communities will prosper. We have, as we gear up in for the summer, you're going to see a tremendous increase in community-based events. Some of the events that you'll see highlighted on the first few pages. The third annual Gun Violence Awareness Walk by the Tau Epsilon Zeta chapter of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated will be held on June 6th here at Municipal Park. The Hope Mills Chamber is continuing their annual golf tournament at Gates 4 on July 31st, 2026. Juneteenth for the town of Hope Mills will be on June 20th this year. We have decided, and I've announced earlier, that it will be located at the Hive at Hope Mills, which is our new food truck park adjacent to the back end of the park. We have a great lineup, a gospel band, 2 R&B bands, vendors, and things of like. The Widows and Widowers Social, hosted by VFW Post 6018, will be on May 30th. The bike rodeo for the police department will be actually at the end of this month, May 23rd. Police Week was great last week. We received a lot of very positive feedback from the community through our community policing efforts that we're continuing to push. We were also actually recognized at the Child Advocacy Center at their annual You Are Our Sunshine. We're a partner for prevention with the Child Advocacy Center in their efforts to protect children that are victims of child abuse. We also have the Hive at Hope Mills is having, they've launched their mercantile market. It'll be held every first and third Saturdays from May to December. Registration is now open. We will be conducting our Memorial Day ceremony on May 25th this year, 4 p.m. at the Parks and Rec center inside the gymnasium. Also, in terms of infrastructure improvements, if you haven't noticed, there are some massive improvements to Golfview and Rockfish Road here at Town Hall. Probably one of the biggest ones we've seen in quite some time is Camden Road. And the length of it is from Hope Mills and Camden all the way to 295. Medians in the middle, 2 lanes each side, sidewalks. We were able to negotiate with Fanpo and NCDOT for sidewalks on both sides of the street for the entire duration of that Camden Road widening at no cost to the town. Back to Rockfish and Golfview widening, that's a $33 million project. The Camden Road widening is a $475 million project. These are tied to major infrastructure improvements being conducted inside of Hope Mills. Next, we have Parks and Recreation events. We talk about events for our children. Our Hoops After Dark series will begin the week of June 8th. Big T's, who is the main food provider at the Hive of Hope Mills, has breakfast now. We also have flag football for girls. And we have an amazing event that I have to give kudos to Brandon McLean with Parks and Rec. It's a program called Better Than Mommy. And it is a program that focuses on single mothers with kids. I think that's a very, very powerful program that we're offering through Parks and Rec. Next page is our Hope Mills Chamber of Commerce dedicated page. It does speak about the golf tournament again. And the last 2 pages of the report will remain NCDOT updates on all the projects in our region. I do have 2 more announcements, 3. Mosquito spraying will begin the 21st. The dam inspection will also begin on the 21st. We have to do our annual inspection with our engineer, Snob Engineering. And finally, this is the draft of the future of Hope Mills. There's a lot of growth coming in Hope Mills. There's been a lot of concerns from citizens about maintaining the small-town character of Hope Mills. This is the end of about an 8-month-long process of community engagement, direct engagement. Kudos to the Cumberland County planning staff who spearheaded and project managed this. But if you're talking about what we're doing to handle the growth, you're talking about land use recommendations, how can we kind of put caps on residential construction, data centers, industrial development, job creators, all of those recommendations are in here, and this is going to allow us to properly deal with about the next 15 to 20 years of growth in Hope Mills, to be done in a way that's conducive to the needs of our citizens, and mainly, from my standpoint, is to help preserve the small town character of this town. And that does conclude my manager's report for this evening. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chancellor. We'll go into board member comments. I'll start with Commissioner Marley and work this way.
Just like to welcome everybody. I'll hold my comments. Looks like we got a packed house tonight, so we're probably going to be busy.
All right. Okay. Commissioner Tremmel.
Good evening, and I want to welcome the crowd here tonight. It's good to see you all, and I'm anxious to hear all your comments tonight.
Commissioner Mitchell.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out and joining us. To our board members, I want to address a social media post that came out last week. It was posted on the Hope Mills Cumberland County Matters Facebook page, showing a photo of 4 elected officials, 2 black, 2 white. What many of you may not be aware is that the original post was paired with audio containing the racial slur, the N-word. I will not repeat the word, but I will speak plainly about the harm it caused. Any music of any type that uses that word and attach it to someone's picture is unacceptable, harmful, and beneath the standards of any community. Using the N-word in any context is not humor, commentary, or free expression. It is an act of weaponizing a history of violence, dehumanization, pairing the slur with the image of public service regardless of their race, crosses a line that criticizes and is targeted degradation. Our community deserves better. We deserve a dialogue that challenges ideas without attacking people's humanity. It's okay to agree to disagree. Our policies, without resorting to language designed to divide, demean, and re-traumatize. I stand firmly against normalization of racial slurs in public discourse. We must hold ourselves and each other to a higher standards, one that reflects the dignity of every resident and the responsibility we all share to build a safe and more respectable community. Racial slurs are not harmless. They are not jokes. They are not just lyrics. They are reminders of trauma, of exclusion, violence, of generations was told they were less than. And when something like that is shared publicly, especially involving our leaders, it hurts, it divides, it reopens old wounds that many have spent a lifetime trying to heal. Tonight, I'm asking every single one of us to stand against racism in all forms. No matter our politics, no matter our disagreements, no matter our frustration, we must choose respect. We must choose dignity. To those who may have liked, commented, or shared the post, I want to believe that many of you did not know the audio exists. I did not know that was even in the background. I never even played it. You just liked it and shared it because you liked the capture on the front end. And if the audio was altered or created using AI, the person that is responsible for the page need to be held accountable and responsible. But even if it was fake, the harm is real. The impact is real. If social media pages like the Hope Mills Chatter, well, the Hope Mills County Matter, the Chatter, were known for sharing truth, for sharing facts, for sharing information that builds our community instead of tearing it down, we wouldn't be left wondering what was real and what was not. But too often, what we see is half-truth, sensationalism, and content that stirs division instead of understanding. Our community deserves better than that. We deserve honesty. We deserve accountability. We deserve a space where people can disagree without being demeaned, where conversations can be hard but not hateful. We are better than that moment. We are stronger. We will move forward together by choosing compassion, by choosing truth, and by choosing to protect the dignity of every person we call this community home. The public deserves accurate information about town operations. For example, the fact that the town is currently functioning under last year's budget approved by last year's board. The board is responsible for those decisions, not the town manager. I repeat, not the town manager. It's not his budget. It's our budget. We make the final decision about the budget. When discussions about the town business are stripped of context or distorted for effect, the public is not being served. Responsible communication is essential to maintaining trust. My hope tonight is not to escalate tension, but to encourage a shared commitment to respectful communication. Whatever our political views are or differences may be, we have a responsibility to uphold dignity, truth, and restraint in how we speak about and to each other in public places. Tonight, I'm asking us all, regardless of race, politics, or personal opinion, to stand together against racism, misinformation, misleading information, and reject language that harms, to refuse and normalize slurs that carry generations of trauma. Fact of the matter is, we want the public to engage thoughtfully and fairly, then discussions about our town business. Case in point, you all here tonight, want you to talk about the budget. Most of all, we want you to be informed so that you can trust us that we'll make the best decision that we have with the information we have available, that we can do what's in the best interest of our citizens. I will continue to pray for our community, I will pray for our people, and I ask God for his perfect will be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Mitchell. It's well said. Commissioner Hamilton.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here this evening. I've never seen this many people in Town Hall before. And those that are watching online, I appreciate everybody coming tonight, and those that are watching. One thing that I do want to say is I want to thank the police department, the foundation, Debbie, and I want to thank the Hope Mills Police Department for the police ball that they had on Saturday evening. I attended. It was fantastic. There was a lot of camaraderie within the police department themselves. The morale was high. They had the food was excellent. They had a DJ. They had a photo booth, and the evening was just fantastic. It was really good to see these police officers out there being able to relax and enjoy themselves for a change, and to see them in another element without being on duty. Like I said, it was a great evening. I appreciate the invite to go there. The awards that were given by the chief to his police officers was amazing, and those people that weren't there can't know exactly what our police officers do until you hear that, and I think the mayor's going to provide them with some certificates this evening, but it was kind of a surprise because we don't know what they do on a daily basis or the harm that they put themselves in on a daily basis out there. We kind of take it for granted, but when you get to see it and see the awards and hear what they have done, it changes your opinion a little bit of what they do for us. Not to say our fire department doesn't as well. They're also out there helping us, and I appreciate everything they do as well. So our public safety, to me, is paramount to this community, and I appreciate them. Thank you, Mayor. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Commissioner Hamilton. Mayor Pro Tem Hope Page.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to see everybody out in the audience, and I do hope all those that are streaming and watching will eventually matriculate into the audience as well. I would like to say congratulations to all the Cumberland County School students that was recognized on Tuesday, May 13th at the Cumberland County Board of Education. It was a beautiful sight to see such academic excellence and accomplishments. We have some very bright students and individuals throughout Cumberland County.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem. All right. This past weekend, did anybody have the opportunity to go down to the lake park? Because I'm going to tell you, if you did, you couldn't find a place to park because it was packed. It was completely packed of residents, and they're looking for more parking. And it's a testament of how our community is growing. I want to welcome Councilman Malik Davis from District 2 from the city of Fayetteville. And I'm glad to see that you're here tonight because the city is wrestling with the same thing we are, trying to find the right operating budget for next year. They proposed theirs last week along with us, and they're getting ready to go into the budget workshops. Regardless, there's 9 of us municipalities in Cumberland County, and we're all one. We all work together. What one does affects the other one. And we all have a wonderful working relationship, and I'm glad to see that you're here. Want to recognize Assistant Fire Marshal David Arthur for successfully earning his Level 2 Fire Inspector certification. That is a hallmark to his profession. Saturday night was the Foundation Police Ball, our second annual, and it would not have been done without a tremendous amount of volunteerism. It would not. It really wouldn't. And I'm going to read out some awards that were handed out that night and their names and what they were awarded for, because this is the backbone of public safety, not only in Hope Mills, but in all of our municipalities, because public safety doesn't stop at the city line of Hope Mills and city of Fayetteville. Public safety doesn't stop there. Crime doesn't stop there either. Not at all. Hope Mills Police Department Honorable Mention Life Saving Award to Abigail Furlan, and I'm probably going to butcher these names up, Chief, I'm telling you, but I'll try, for swift, decisive, and coordinated actions on October 21st in response to a serious vehicle crash. Honorable Mention Life Saving Award to Officer, is it Marcel? Marisol. Yeah, Marisol Kazane, yes. If I don't get it right, Chief, I'm going to ask you. For swift and decisive life-saving actions on October the 2nd while off duty. How about that? Off duty. Honorable Mention Life-Saving Award to Legan, is it Legan Adams? Logan. Oh, it's an O. for swift, decisive, and coordinated actions on October 21st, 2025, in response to a serious vehicle crash. Honorable mention life-saving award to Officer, all right, Chief, got to help me here again. Is it Katie? Katie Sterick. There it is. Cody, did I get Sterick right? All right. For swift, decisive, coordinated action on October 21st in response to a serious vehicle crash. Honorable mention, life-saving award to Officer, I got this one, I can't get this one right. It's Stephen Kelly. Okay, for swift, decisive, coordinated action on October 21st in response to a serious vehicle crash. I'm gonna get this next one right too. Hope Mills Police Department Medal of Merit. Proudly presented to Task Force Officer William Cannon for exceptional courage, judgment, compassion on September 13th, 2025, while off duty. Responding to a suicide individual armed with a firearm, he engaged in calm, patient communication and successfully de-escalated the situation, persuading the individual to surrender the weapon and accept medical assistance. He saved this individual's life. I'll get this next one right too. Police Department Medal of Merit, Officer Zachary Vickers, for outstanding and compassionate professionalism on December 1st, 2025, in response to a suicidal individual on a bridge over Interstate 295. Through calm communication, empathy, patience, you built trust and successfully persuaded the individual to seek safety and medical care, preventing a preventable loss of life. He saved another life saved right here. This is our police department that's doing this. Hope Mills Police Department 2025 Supervisor of the Year, I'll get this one right, is proudly presented to Sergeant Robert Fields. Recognition of his exemplary leadership, professional, and dedication as a supervisor within the School Resource Officer Unit. This is our SROs. This is public safety, taking care of our kids, our parents, the staff, and teachers in our schools. He's been honored as the 2025 Supervisor of the Year. Selfless leadership, clear communication, unwavering support for the team that fosters trust, accountability, and positive work in the environment. And I'm here to tell you, every one of the school administrators thank our police department every day for being there as part of their schools. It's part of community policing. 2025 Police Officer of the Year. Proudly presented to Officer Joshua Marquis. Shocked, I got it. Let's see. You've been chosen by your peers as the Police Officer of the Year for 2025. Your exceptional dedication, innovation, and impact on department operations. Serving in dual roles as a sworn officer and law enforcement systems specialist, crime analyst, 2 hats. You successfully implemented key systems that enhanced communication efficiency and overall effectiveness. Your commitment to patrol support process improvement and assisting fellow officers through training and analysis reflects outstanding professionalism and service. That's our Police Officer of the Year. Our last award, and Chief, I believe I heard you correctly Saturday night say this, along with Deputy Chief, was that this is the first award since you've been here. The Medal of Honor. It's the department's highest award. It's the first one since he's been here that he has given out. And it is proudly presented to Task Force Officer Garrett Johnson. October 2nd, 2025, during a multi-agency operation in St. Paul's, North Carolina, you were assisting with a high-risk warrant execution when an armed suspect exited a camper and immediately opened fire with a rifle towards you and your fellow officers. This was about 50 feet, right, Chief? 15. Come out of a camper, 15 feet, blazing. With full knowledge of the intimate risk to your own life, you acted with extreme courage and returned fire, helping to stop an active and life-threatening attack against law enforcement personnel. Your bravery, composure under fire, and decisive response in the face of extraordinary peril were keeping with the highest traditions of the law enforcement service. For your gallantry, extraordinary heroism, and willingness to place yourself in grave personal risk in the protection of others, you are awarded the highest of all recognition, the Hope Mills Police Department Medal of Honor. That is something. I read these tonight because these were the awards that were presented at the ball, at the second annual Police Department ball on Saturday. And it was really moving to watch the police officers one by one come up and accept these awards, because every one of these awards represents the culture of our police department every day of what they do to protect and serve our community. And I just wanted to take time to do that. Last thing I've got, Chancellor talked about this. Last week, we had the first draft, which is this one here, of our land use plan that's been in progress for, what, 8 months now, Chancellor? About 8 months. This is the best plan I have ever seen put together. And I want to commend the entire staff of the Cumberland County Planning Board, and each board member. I brought one back for you. You have a copy of this. We'll have a copy laying back there on the table, too, for the public. This is a very well-detailed document. It is thorough. It is easy to read, not only for citizens, but for developers and any stakeholder who's looking to either come to Hope Mills in any way, whether it be residential, industrial, or commercial. There was a lot of public input put into this, and our staff in this room, every member of the town staff had an input piece into this document. It wasn't just constructed by one or two people. It was constructed by everybody. And it represents us. And it's coming to be approved, I think, in June. It'll go to the county planning board, and then it'll come back to us. The board will look and make a decision in August, and then it goes to the county commissioners after that. And then it's an approved document. But I just wanted to highlight how much time and work has been put into this document. And it's a lot of educational value. All right, that's it for me. So I'll move on to item 3, presentations, proclamation recognizing National Public Works Week, and that's under tab 1.
Thank you. Town of Hope Mills National Public Works Week Proclamation, May 17th through 23rd, 2026. Rooted in service, powered by a community. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and service that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the citizens of the town of Hope Mills. And whereas the infrastructure, facilities, and services cannot be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens and elected officials in the town of Hope Mills to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works. and public works programs in the community, and whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association, and
So now be it resolved, I, Jesse Bellflowers, Mayor of the Town of Hope Mills, do hereby proclaim the week of May 17th through the 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week, and urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association, Canadian Public Works Association, and government agencies in activities, events, ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works employees and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life, proclaimed this 18th day of May 2026. Item B, which is proclamation recognizing Memorial Day 2026. That's under tab 2. I can do it, or really you want to do it? There it? All right, I got it. Okay, proclamation recognizing Memorial Day, May 25th, which is coming up next week. Whereas Memorial Day was first widely observed on May 30th, 1868, and called Decoration Day to commemorate the nation's Civil War dead by decorating their graves. And whereas Memorial Day involved to commemorate American military personnel who died in all wars and was declared a national holiday by Congress in 1971 to be celebrated the last Monday in May. And whereas each Memorial Day Americans remember the debt of gratitude we owe to our veterans who gave their lives for our country. I get passionate. I apologize. Whereas thousands of American men and women have given their lives for their country, and to many thousands more still bear severe disabilities and the scars of war, and by remembering these, we are reminded that the cost of war and peace is great. And whereas we continue to rely on our brave and steadfast men and women in uniform to defend our freedoms, we commemorate this noble American holiday. We honor those who fell in defense of our freedoms, and we honor them in our memory. And now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Jesse Bellflowers, Mayor of the Town of Hope Mills, North Carolina, do hereby urge all citizens to observe this day in honor and in memory of the thousands of American men and women who have answered the call to duty in defending this hard-won freedom we enjoy today, and who have sacrificed their lives in defense of their country, proclaimed this 18th day of May 2026. Our Memorial Day ceremony is Monday, May 25th at 4 o'clock. It'll be in the gym because we can't use the park, because the park's all tore up out there because of the road expansion. So I would like to invite everyone that wants to be a part of the ceremony to please come and remember. I cannot say that enough. Okay. Item C is the oath of office. There are two individuals. One is our Finance Director, Brittany McLaurin. And then we have a police officer, Zachariah Peoples. Did I get it right? Oh, man, I got two of them right. All right. We'll do Brittany first, and then we'll do Zachariah. You
So
got,
I have the City of Fayetteville here, I have the Fayetteville Liberty here, I have the Fayetteville Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority here. I have Holy Mission Church family here, so can y'all all just come, we'll take one big picture. Fayetteville PD, Fayetteville Police Department, if everybody just come, we'll take one big picture. The Liberty Cigar Emporium, I forgot them too.
I'm a member of Delta Sigma. All right, one more, y'all. 1, 2, 3.
oh, yeah.
I just got flashbacks.
All right.
Brittany, welcome to our family. Next one. I got one more. Can you go back up? All right, Chief, you're up next.
Excuse me. Yes, sir. So Zachary Peoples, he's a 2011 Grays Creek High School graduate from Hope Mills. He started his law enforcement career with the Fayetteville Police Department in 2015. He served as a patrol officer, an aggravated assault and robbery detective, and then a fraud detective before moving and joining the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office, where he served as a patrol officer, a field training officer, and SWAT team member. He's here tonight with his son and daughter, Shelby and Wyatt, and his wife, Lauren, which is, we're fortunate to have also as one of our police officers. So, Zachary Peoples.
All right. Come forward, sir. The family comes with you. Yeah, there we go. All right. We'll read it down, you just recite it, okay? All right. Good? All right. I, state your name.
Zachariah Peoples.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will be alert,
that I will be alert
vigilant,
and vigilant
to enforce
to enforce
the criminal laws
criminal
of
laws
this state,
of this state,
that I will not
that I will not
be influenced
be influenced
in any manner
in any manner
on account
on account
of bias or prejudice,
of bias or prejudice,
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and
the
maintain
Constitution
the Constitution
and laws
and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and laws
and laws
of North Carolina,
of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will
and that I will
faithfully
faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of me,
of
of my office
my office
as a law enforcement officer
as a law enforcement officer
and as police officer
and as police officer
for the town of Hope Mills,
for the town of Hope Mills,
according to the best
according to the
of my
best
skills,
of my skills,
abilities,
abilities,
and judgment.
and judgment.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Right there's the code of ethics. Got 'em all? Got all the pictures? Okay, let me read the rules, make sure everybody's got them. Each speaker is asked to limit comments to 3 minutes. There's gonna be a clock on that wall over there, so I'm gonna try to keep it, everybody, right at the 3-minute mark. If you see 3 minutes coming up, kind of wrap it up, so we give everybody the opportunity to speak. Total comment period will be 30 minutes or less. Citizens will sign up, which they already have. Please direct comments to the full board, not to any individual board member or staff member, which means no individual names. No pointing out any individual staff that's here in the room or any board member. Although the board is interested in hearing your concerns, speakers should not expect board action or deliberation on subject matter brought up during the public comment segment. Topics requiring further investigation will be referred to the appropriate town officials and staff and may be scheduled for a future agenda. We'll take every comment that's made by every citizen that's on this list. We take every one of them seriously. And if we can take action tonight, we will. If not, then we will research the action and town manager will bring back a solution. I apologize in advance if I butcher up names. I don't mean to, it's just me. I even butcher my own up sometimes. First speaker is Chris Smith. When you come forward, please just state your name, and if you want to state your address, it's okay, but at least state your name for the record. Chris?
Roger that. Thanks. Appreciate it, everyone. By the crowd tonight, I'm pretty much assuming that this is going to be one of the easiest requests that you guys get tonight. Mayor Bear Flowers, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the board and staff. My name's Chris Smith. I retired from Fort Bragg here. Live just outside the Hope Mills area and around the Grays Creek area, the new development out there. Mayor, you spoke of us all being one, and volunteers are critical. You will probably note that I sent you an email on this as well.
You did.
I'm actually here to respectfully request that the board consider allowing individuals with a Hope Mills mailing address, even those just outside the incorporated town limits, like myself, to serve on voluntary advisory board committees and boards. I was told this would not be possible due to my address not being within the town limits or the municipal influence area. Currently, it states on all committee applications that applicants must reside inside the Hope Mills limits or within the municipal influence area, and at the discretion of the Hope Mills Board of Commissioners. This isn't a request regarding elected office, anything like that. This is strictly about volunteerism. Many of us who live immediately outside the corporate limits, and in some cases, the municipal influence area, are still connected to the Hope Mills community. We shop here, we go to the parks here, we support local businesses here. This is our community. Even though we're part of the county and we don't pay Hope Mills taxes, we still support Hope Mills to the best of our ability. In fact, the town already recognizes this a little bit with volunteer firefighters that can, live outside the area, other people that can live outside the area. So really, I'm just asking for permission to be able to serve on local boards or local advisory committees, as well as open it up to other people outside the Hope Mills municipal area of influence that would like to volunteer as well. Thank you.
Chris, before you go, what committees were you interested in?
To be honest with you, Mayor, obviously I'm a veteran. I retired from the military. I did 10 years at Joint Special Operations Command. I, close ties there, but anything that could help the town out, really. Just looking to support the town in any way I can. A home being outside of my home. Thank you. I
think you do, Chris. Just know that all of our committees are open to the public. So anybody can come and be not a member of the committee, but can come and be a part of what goes on in the committees. The board can deliberate on allowing, we can look at that. I mean, it's been something that's been brought up before, is that folks within the MIA, because we are a very, very growing community. We're just not a little town anymore. We have a lot of folks that are in the MIA. That's outside
Right.
the town limits. So Chris, your request is very valid, and it'll be something that this board will take under consideration.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate the time, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Chris. Next up is Mr. David Hoffman.
Thank you, Mayor. Board.
Thanks for coming, David.
I live at,
Excuse me, sir. Can you press the button, please?
Oh, you gotta press the green button. That button right there, it'll light it up.
I reside at 4677 Speedway Boulevard, better known as Legion Road here. Been paying taxes in the Hope Mills since the late 1960s. Last year, my taxes went up $670 just on the little house I live in. But not only that, the tax reevaluation, when it went up, then we're having to pay another $500 or $600 in premiums for our insurance on our house. So it's a big concern. Raising property taxes is a problem for our retired families and our citizens that are on a fixed income here in the Hope Mills area. I please hope this board considers not to raise any property taxes, period. Thank you.
David, I thank you very much. John Morrison is next. Marison.
Good evening. My name is John Martinson. I'm a 33-year resident of Hope Mills. I live on Labonte Drive. Stop raising our taxes. Last year, myself, I got a 121% increase in Hope Mills property taxes. I know that was due to the reevaluations, the majority of it, but Cumberland County lowered their taxes from 79 to 49, resulting in a 30% increase. Wasn't happy about that, but it's better than what Hope Mills did, which was essentially nothing and just raked in all that extra cash. Next item is return to 2 years terms. My understanding, the last board finagled a way to get a 3-2 vote. Maybe they didn't, maybe they did. It should be a 4-1 vote to put something into the charter, a supermajority. But you need to go back to 2-year terms. You've got 4 new members on the board. That is a supermajority. They could reverse that action and go back to 2-year terms. Based on that last audit with the state of North Carolina, I don't want any of you serving 4 years until you correct the situation we're in now. Lastly, I would like to respectfully submit to the board that you should fire the town manager effective immediately. And I would encourage you to have the mayor resign based on that audit. And that's what I have tonight, other than go users.
Thank you, John. Next up, Mark Hess.
Good evening. My name is Mark Hess. I live at 3239 Glenmore Drive, Hope Mills. You all pretty much know me. I'm going to be in the minority on this. 2 years ago, we did a pay study, roughly 2 years ago, and I don't think we've met that pay study yet. In addition to various things going on around Hope Mills, potholes and such things like that, we don't really have the money for it. I am a senior citizen. I don't like paying taxes any more than anybody else. But to keep the quality of life in Hope Mills, to keep a solid police department to protect us, to keep the fire department as good as it is. When I moved here 34 years ago, it was a volunteer fire department. Much better now than it was then, though they did a great job, all things considered. And we also have some great people that are employed with our Parks and Rec Department, our Public Works, Stormwater, so on and so forth. I suggest a 5 to 6 cent pay raise per 100, simply to give the city enough latitude and flexibility financially so that they can continue to be the Hope Mills that we move to, not slowly work our way to the issues that they have in towns like Spring Lake. I like living here. I plan to stay here until probably the day I die. And I will figure out a way to pay for those extra taxes on my house. Thank you.
Mark, did you mean to say 5 to 6 cent property tax increase?
Yes.
Okay, because you said pay increase.
Oh, did I? Oh, I wouldn't mind a pay increase. But my pay doesn't actually come so much for the city. But no, it's for the property tax.
I just wanted to be clear for the record. Thank you, Mark. Next up is Whitaker, is it Gaines? Granis, okay. All right.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How are you doing?
All right.
Do I need to press this to talk?
Nope, it's on.
Great. So my name is Whitaker Granis. I'm the president of the Cumberland County Beekeepers Association. One of our members, Kerry, came and talked to you at your last meeting. He said you were really interested in honeybees, so I thought I'd come by and take 3 minutes and tell you about honeybees and the Cumberland County Beekeepers Association. First, why are honeybees important? Honeybees and humans have been living in a symbiotic relationship for about 10,000 years. Basically, when we figured out how to go from being hunter-gatherers to agriculture, somebody figured out that honeybees were important for agriculture. Today, honeybees are vital to 30% of our food supply. And without honeybees, you're going to lose all of the good food. All of your fruits, vegetables, nuts, things like that are completely dependent on honeybees to be pollinated. Now, the good news is if you like McDonald's, you're still going to have French fries. Those will still be here. But we need to protect our honeybees and our pollinators. Honeybees are threatened every year by pests. Most of them are imported. So some of the worst pests are coming in right now from China. There's something called the Varroa destructor that's been impacting honeybees for 20 years. And something called the yellow-legged hornet was just imported by China about 2 years ago. It's about 100 miles from here. And we expect them to make their way to Cumberland County in the next 2 years. And we've seen in Europe about a 30% decline in honeybees and honey production because of this yellow-legged hornet, unfortunately. Great things that come out of bees. Beeswax, you've probably seen beeswax in different products. Propolis is bee glue. It's got antifungal, antimicrobial properties. Bee venom, I was talking to some of you guys earlier. I'm a believer in bee venom as a medicine, as a way to relieve some symptoms of arthritis and allergies. I'm not a doctor. I can't give medical advice. And, of course, delicious honey. So tonight I brought each of you a pound of honey from one of our local beekeepers. If you are looking for honey for yourself for this year, beekeepers are harvesting right now. Look over the next month or two for local beekeepers to be selling honey from their hives. It's a great time to pick it up. Quickly about the Cumberland County Beekeepers Association, we've been growing since I've been president for the last 4 years. We're up to 135 members. We have a free meeting the last Tuesday of every month at the Crown Agro Expo Center. We partner with the master beekeeper for beekeeping schools every year. We offer about 25 to 30 hours of beekeeping education. We're how most people learn how to become a beekeeper in Cumberland County. Last year, we led a Western North Carolina beekeeper relief, so people who were impacted by Hurricane Helene. We raised 45 hives to replace those. And then really quickly, I want to talk to you about honeybee swarms. Honeybee swarms look very, very intimidating. It's 10,000 bees that are all congregating together. They look very scary, but they're not. So we have a hotline, 910-753-1191. If you give us a call, if you see something like this, we will send a beekeeper out there as quickly as possible. We typically have somebody on site within an hour to help rescue these bees, give them a new home. There's no reason for anybody to spray the honeybees. We've got a whole team of beekeepers that are ready there to help rescue them. So I thank you guys for letting me talk tonight for 3 minutes. Please try and help save the honeybees, and have a good evening. And enjoy the honey.
Thank you very much. Yes. You know, I'd like to.
753-1191.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, that's what I keep one.
This would really be a good product down at the Hive.
not made it there yet, but I'm looking forward to checking it out.
I'm here to tell you, this would be a real, wouldn't you think, Chancellor?
I did actually have a conversation with them prior to this. I'm gonna probably make a formal introduction this week. The Hive at Hope Mills is tied to a hive mentality that is tied to community involvement. And I do think that when I talked to the gentleman earlier, this would be a great way to partner them with something that's tied to kids. So I will actually reach out to you guys tomorrow to do that. Thank you.
Yeah, and to further that along, that would be some really good, some training, some observation for kids, if you guys could set that up for some educational opportunities for kids to understand what honeybees are.
We did 23 public engagement events last year. We're hoping to do more. We bring beehives and different things. We're going to meet the woodpeckers June 7th at their school game. We'd love to do that. If you give us a call, that same number, you leave us a voicemail. We'll try to get a beekeeper to come out to your event, to your class, to your school, and talk to you about the importance of honeybees.
Okay. Well, you're going to expect a call because I think we can work this out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Parks and Rec Summer Camp is excellent. LaMarco, got them? Did you get a card? Next up, is it Jennifer, is it Mixon? Hickson, okay. Gotta make sure I'm right. All right. Okay. Come on. I apologize, I'm not good at names. I can read cursive sometimes.
I'm here because I don't want no new taxes.
Just say your name into the record.
Jennifer Stewart Hickson,
right.
and I'm here to address the board about no new taxes because I just inherited the house across the street where my father lived. Y'all already taken that. Half my front yard is gone.
I know your father, and so does Grilly.
He loved the town of Hope Mills, and I love the town of Hope Mills. And like this man was saying, whenever I was part of the appearance committee, as soon as I had to move, and I had to move to Fayetteville, I was told I could no longer participate. And I felt like that was wrong. So I stand behind the fact that people should be able to volunteer if they still have a heart for Hope Mills. The other thing is, he's right, bees are important. I have friends that were beekeepers until COVID, and then they had to stop. But the one thing you're going to have to do if you want bees is quit using pesticide. The pesticide you're using on your flowers are going to kill the bees. But the way the property taxes are right now, I live on Social Security. And it looks like if y'all do an increase, I'm going to be paying $3,000 to $4,000 in taxes. That takes, well, I'm broke, all right? My Social Security check is gone. Even if I make the payments, even if I qualify for half Cumberland County to cut it in half because I'm a senior citizen. It's ridiculous because I also have repairs in order to keep up Hope Mills appearance. I've got to do repairs on my house. Or y'all going to come knocking on there and saying, Jennifer, you got to do something about this. So I'm against new taxes. And I thank all of you, and I guess I've said enough.
I just wanted you to know that we knew your father. We knew him well.
I know. And he like I said, he loved Hope Mills. So.
He did. Thank you very much. Harvey was something else. Our next speaker is Wayne Hemingway.
Thank you. My name's Wayne Hemingway, and I really do appreciate the time y'all are giving me and the time y'all are giving everybody else here. I'm here about the taxes, of course, just like some of these other people, and the budget. You know, obviously, nobody wants to pay more in taxes. The people that collect the taxes have a responsibility to the people that they collect the taxes from. And that is to manage the money in a very proper and efficient manner. As a person who is involved in business, you have to understand every single day where the money is going, how it's being spent, and put it in the best possible place you can for it to be utilized the best way that it can. Now, I know some of y'all weren't here when a lot of these problems arose, but you asked to come here. You volunteered for this job. We didn't volunteer to pay the tax rate at a higher rate. We're against it, some are for it, everybody has their own opinion. But what you volunteered to do was manage our money to your best ability and not waste it. I think that there's money that can still be cut. I'm sure that there is money that can still be cut. And I understand it hurts to make cuts, because the worst thing as a business person that you want to do is look at an employee and tell them that they can't have a job anymore because you don't have enough work. It hurts, but it has to be done at times. Places close down for reasons. Municipalities go bankrupt for reasons. You can't mismanage the money. Find the places that it can be cut and trimmed, and please do so, because that is the ethical thing to do. The non-ethical thing to do is ask for more money before you have been down every avenue there is to go down. You have to look everywhere before you look to us. And one quick thing that I would like to say about the 4-year terms, and please listen to this closely. It was put on the ballot in Hope Mills, and it was voted down. The people said no. These words are very important to every person in this world. No means no. If y'all have the chance, reverse it, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. As I said last week, on April 30th, when the budget was proposed, we're not going to rush this budget. I made that pledge then. I make that pledge again tonight. And that we will go through this budget. We've still got a couple more departments to look at tonight, and we are here shortly. Public Works and Parks and Rec. And then we're probably going to have another workshop. Then we're probably going to have a public hearing well into June. So this ain't a one and done. It's not going to all happen at one time. It's a work in progress. And make no mistake, we will continue to look through that. The proposed budget for us is $22.5 million. I know, Councilman, Davis, that's a little bit less than what you guys are looking at in the city. I think you guys are what, 200 and? Yeah, it's up there. So, but Wayne, just know that's our mission, and that's what we're going to do.
That's what we asked. That's what y'all offered to us when we voted.
Okay. Our last speaker, I'm going to make sure I get this one right, is it, I know Harwell is the last name. Yes, sir. Is it?
Reaver.
Reaver. Ah, there it is. Yeah, I didn't see the
Yes,
R.
sir. Reaver Harwell, 3905 Rackenhurst Road.
Reaver, welcome.
Yes, sir. I'm a 26-year-old veteran, serving in the military for 26 years, 4 months. But I want to share something with you. Romans 13:7. Give to everyone what you owe them. Pay your taxes and government fees to those who collect them, and respect and honor to those who are in authority. I think I'm a godly man, and I put my faith in God and not in people. What I mean by that is when you focus on people, a lot of times you get irritated, you get upset, you disrespect one another and everything. And I think that we need to get past that stage of focus on people, focus on demeaning people, focus on talking bad about a person, get away from talking about firing people and stuff. I'm a person that say raise taxes because I've been here off and on throughout the military since 1995. And I've seen Hope Mills has grown some, in better ways than before. I remember a time that it was a vacancy in a town manager spot. The person came here, if I recall, and he just didn't come. He said, hey, no, you ain't paying me right, I ain't gonna be here. So he didn't come. Before that, the town manager was there. Guess what? They mismanaged a lot of stuff, but no one talked about that. As soon as you get somebody in office that's trying to do the right stuff, we constantly bashing this guy. This person has a family. He has a family you gotta take care of too. When you demean somebody and everything, that's not right. I don't care who you are. That's not right at all. As far as the 4-year terms, right, we go back and forth on this all the time about 2 years, 4 years, who need to be in office, who need to be out of office. Here's the thing about it. When you're in the office 2 years, nothing's getting done. Because you're coming in the office trying to figure out what that person did 2 years, who been there 2 years, you're trying to figure it out. Then you vote it out. 4-year terms, I voted for it. All right, and I'm going to vote for it again. Because it needs to be 4 years terms. If you ask me, it needs to be 6-year terms. Because things about it is you got to have the continuity in this place. These 2 years, the only thing you're doing is doing drive-by. You come in, and you say what you're going to say for two years, and you're out of here. And somebody come behind you, that's where the problem lies at, guys. You got to get continuity here, all right? Is anything you're doing in the workforce at all, if you don't have continuity, you're going to have failure. You're going to have gaps in the position. So you got to have some kind of continuity here. And you got to come together as one party, one family, all right? Hope Mills should be a family united together. Taxes getting raised everywhere you go in the world. Everywhere you go in the world, taxes getting raised. I feel sorry for some people who taxes getting raised. Guess what? They raised my tax, it's paying more and more money. I understand that. But look at it. We got better police officers. We got better fire department. We got a police building over there. We got SWAT cars out here. We paying people to do a job. We finally paying people to do a job who want to really work here. Who want to work somewhere don't get paid? That's not right. That's not right at all. That's all I want to say. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. That closes out public comments. Again, I encourage everyone, this board encourages citizens, if you want to say something to the board, come to the public comments and you will be heard. So I encourage that as well. And the public hearing for the budget is coming up in June. All right, so that's item number 4. We go to item number 5, which is the consent agenda. That's items A, B, and C. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second to approve the consent agenda of items A, B, and C. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, consent agenda is approved. That's the end of the consent agenda. We go right into item 6, discussion. Our last 2 departments for the budget workshop. And first up is Public Works. And I think, Don, you got that? Thought she was coming. Thought she was coming up here to get it.
Mayor.
Commissioner Marley?
Yeah, before Don gets started, I wanted to ask the manager one thing. I just wanted to let the citizens know that the proposed budget that came to us from the manager, how much was cut out of the budget total before you presented this budget to us?
There were, and so Councilmember Davis just left, and you have to talk about the value of the penny. In the city of Fayetteville, the value of a penny is $2 million, and Hope Mills, the value of a penny is $200,000. And so when I tell this number to you guys, it's very sobering. $2 million in requests from our departments is 10 cents of tax. 10 cents. And I'm not talking about projects or wish lists. I'm talking salary positions to increase code enforcement, salary positions to increase public works, police. We're talking equipment. We're talking the needs of these departments to provide the services. $2 million was cut down to $100,000. So when I hear this conversation, I have a question. How are we supposed to provide the services that I get calls for every single day with nothing? Because a town cannot operate gutting $2 million of requests of cars, equipment, and needs down to $100,000 every single year and still have a police officer to show up when someone breaks in your house. If you recall the actual fire that was at 10 City, I think our fire chief said it's one of the worst fires he's ever seen. I think the ladder truck is 30 years old. They had a police car, a fire vehicle that they were asking to be replaced. We cut it from the budget. A week later, I had a photograph sent to me of that truck on a tow truck because it broke down out of town at a training. That's where we are. I'll say it again in terms of the board. They're getting hammered for not lowering your taxes enough. We are at a point where, and I've said this before, I'm probably going to get in trouble. We talking about kicking the can. That can is going to end up being a brick. We are continuing to push this. I have asked for a code enforcement officer, a third one, for 12 years in a row. It is cut every single year, but I get code enforcement calls every day. We cannot, and I'll speak to a city manager, I won't say his name, but sometimes we talk to each other. And he told me something profound. He said, if I'm your doctor and you're sick, and I don't tell you you're sick, I'm not doing my job. All I did was recommend what is needed for this town. I don't have the unfortunate burden of doing what you guys have to do because that is a very tough decision to make. But I will speak on behalf of this board who tell me every day, Chancellor, we can't raise the taxes because our citizens on fixed income. They're getting hammered, but they're the main ones and they're telling me we can't do it. And I'm telling them, I don't know how. We're going to continue to shift money out of Power Bill, salaries in the Power Bill that we shouldn't be doing. We're pulling money out of ARPA. We're paying ARPA project money with reoccurring salary expenses. That is not sound financial practices. And we're doing all this running around just so we don't do what the obvious is going to be. You may not have to raise them this year. There is going to be a reckoning coming to Hope Mills where there is no other option but to raise taxes. But my concern is the amount that you would have to raise it at that point is going to be way worse than it is now. Thank you.
Mayor, I just wanted him to clarify, to let the citizens know that when this budget was brought to us, there was $2 million across the board cut.
And you were
before it even
presented with a
came to
balanced
us.
budget, but we cut $2 million from it. That's correct.
So I just wanted to let everybody know that major cuts have been made, and we continue to make cuts in this budget, and we're going to continue to work on this budget as hard as we can. So just want to let everybody know.
Thank you, Commissioner Marley. All right, Don. So we start off with Public Works, and the first part of Public Works is the Public Works Director. So we'll start with that page, and if any board member has any questions about that page, we'll entertain them, and if not, we'll turn the page and we'll continue through his budget. So, and we'll do the very same thing for Parks and Rec when Lamarco comes up. We'll go page by page. Any questions, comments about Public Works Director page? Okay. Notice no capital requested. Next page, Public Buildings and Grounds. Along with this has the service garage. That'll be your next page. The capital asset that they're asking for is 1 0-turn mower, $15,625. They also asked for a fence replacement. Nope, that's not in. A cargo minivan, that's not in. ADA transition program, we can only put 25 in that one. Department requested 75,000. We could only put 25 into it. balance this budget. So back to the page. Anybody got anything? Mayor Pro Tem?
Hello. So I see that you've cut salaries. Or is
Which,
that the
which one are we talking about?
Is that the under public ground, buildings and grounds, and under public grounds, what was requested and then salaries were cut? What the recommendations are?
Don, is that one of the positions that got moved over?
That's one of the,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's one.
So what you're gonna see in your line items, you're gonna see it in, stormwater and in public works. You'll see, requested budget, I think under tab 13 or 12 of 150,000, and then you'll see it shifted down to power bill. So what happens is, we talked about, this is the creative balancing again, when we had, 6 positions down or 5?
6.
6 positions that would have normally come out of the general fund was shifted into power bill and stormwater to be able to balance the budget without touching the general fund. And so what you'll see that reflected in these line items for their budgets.
While everybody's researching, I'll continue on with mine. I found something interesting, Don. I found that you guys request an allergen bagless pet upright vacuum cleaner because our police department has 7 dogs and they shed constantly. My question here would be, I don't know, Chief. Police department has 7 dogs. They shed constantly. I don't know. They're just requesting a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, just,
I'm not saying cars. I'm saying dogs.
No, I know, but you're saying to vacuum the cars out, I know.
no, it's the building, chief.
No, it's the building.
Okay.
It's to vacuum the building. My recommendation, they're your dogs. You should provide the vacuum cleaner. Would you agree to that, Chief? They're your dogs, you ought to provide the vacuum cleaner. I take it as a yes. See, Don, his dogs, your vacuum cleaner.
My building.
And your building too. And I love dogs, you know that, Chief. Now, as everybody continues to look, the last page, almost the last page, is something that we probably don't have a lot of time to talk tonight about. But I do want to bring this up in the next workshop, which if the board considers another workshop after tonight, which I'm encouraging that we do. And one of them is the cost to maintain fleet maintenance. The enormous cost to maintain over 200 vehicles. Am I right, Don?
Well, it's over 150 vehicles and then 180 pieces of equipment.
That's quite costly to the town. If you look at this last page, almost the last one, the town currently owns and is responsible for maintaining 150 vehicles and over 180 pieces of equipment, and that involves everything. Who supervises all this maintenance of all these vehicles, Don?
It's spread around.
But there's no one central contact.
There's no central point of contact for the maintenance for all the vehicles.
Now, Greeley's going to understand what I'm getting ready to say. He's going to understand the need for a BMO. Because that's what you need, Don. You need a BMO to maintain all these pieces of equipment. So when we look, and the gentleman's gone and spoke earlier, and when we look at cutting costs to be more effective and efficient, this is something that I looked at throughout the entire budget and all the departments of how much we're spending in maintenance. And we don't have any point person that's overseeing any of the maintenance. Now, I know you proposed a position, fleet manager, to manage 150 vehicles and 180 pieces of equipment. That's a motor pool. That's bigger than a motor pool.
May I?
Yeah. Don, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave you the segue.
We understand that the need for a fleet manager. Also understand austere budget conditions.
Yes.
But before we go to a fleet manager, let me put one more thing to y'all. You know, next door, we spent $17 million on that building next door.
Yeah.
We have 2 people in our custodian department. They take care of the
said how
building
much you
next
spent?
door. Sir?
17 what?
Cost of the building.
Billion. We spent $17 million on the
Mm-hmm.
building. Okay. 2 custodial people. They take care of the building there. They take care of town hall. They take care of public works. Just to give you an idea of the scope, people consider, you know, when they look at a home or a business, you look at bathrooms and kitchens. Next door, just in that building next door, there are 18 bathrooms for one person to take care of. And that's not just a 2-stall bathroom. There are 2 complete locker rooms. There are 5 shower suites in that building, plus everything that's in this building, plus public works. If it were up to me, I would forego having a fleet manager and add a part-time custodian to help with the building so we can take care of what we have.
I'm glad you said that. I'm the worst guy to ask about cuts, because I cut in a heartbeat. However, consolidation, and I was operations guy, strictly operations. And when you have, I think you have an operation manager now. We gave you one about, 3 years ago?
Yes, sir.
3 years ago. And in most organizations, unfortunately for your operation manager, he's the old catch-all person. They really are. Operations is a catch-all person. And almost everything can be umbrellaed under that. And what about, we looked at the possibility of outsourcing?
We did outsource for a number of years. And when we went and crunched the numbers, it was actually less expensive to do it ourselves than to have a contractor do it. And another reason we went that way is when you have employees under your purview, you have a lot more control over quality and what's happening in your facilities.
Well, background checks also, because look at how sensitive that building is. You just can't have anybody go in there and be a custodian in a public safety building. So that requires a tremendous amount of background checks as well. So I know that contributed to some of the outsourcing as well, so we went ahead and took it on ourselves. Chief? Ms. Gale was recognized for all the work she does there as well. So your need, Don, would be a part-time custodian.
If I could get my number one need is a part-time custodian.
And how many hours would that be?
20 hours a week.
At?
No, I couldn't tell you that at the top of my head.
Okay.
You know, I do have a concern, though. Nobody want to hear this. Man, $6,000 is not enough to cover that fleet, I don't believe, for the fuel costs.
What line item are we looking at?
10, 500, 5,000. And that's just one areas.
That $6,000 is just the directorate.
Some buildings and grounds.
I've got six, or I'm sorry, but regardless,
Yes.
every budget that you look at in my department has its own fuel line.
Okay. 6, I'm looking at 6.
Including you.
Yes, sir.
2,000.
Yeah, you'll see him.
Yeah. And how much is his?
All right, anything else?
Well, Mayor, I agree with that. I mean, you can't expect these police officers to work 12-hour shifts, or the fire department on call all the time, to be able to do any of these things themselves, and you're gonna need help in that building. So I agree with a part-time person. I mean, that's a lot of bathrooms and a lot of stuff to clean, and like I said, you can't expect the employees to do it. I mean, back in the day, we were responsible for cleaning up our own areas, maintaining our own vehicles, but things have changed, the way we do things. Okay.
Based on the recommendation that Commissioner Marmotta made at our last meeting, this one of those that we take and roll over and discuss it on the back end to see where we at once we put everything in a pot and shake it up and see what comes out.
Don, we'd have to provide uniforms for the part-time custodian as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Uniforms.
yeah, all right.
I'm glad you said uniforms. I know we provide uniforms and safety equipment for almost every area that's underneath us. Now, is that based on an allowance, or is it a one-time issue, and then you replace what you have? How does the uniform work?
It depends on where you work. Our maintenance workers, we have a contract with Cintas, and they provide the uniforms and then the cleaning service as well.
Okay.
For more administrative types like myself, the town will purchase my uniforms, and then I take care of the cleaning.
Okay. But the specialty stuff like the gloves and the safety goggles and stuff like that, we do provide?
We do, yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, Don, tell me about this building. And repair of water-damaged areas, needs to be resealed and painted of the exterior.
Oh, that's our building? I mean, it's just standard maintenance. Our building has not been touched for painting or anything like that in the 12 years that I've been here.
Okay, so you're only asking 10,000? That'll take care of all the resealing, painting, and everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? We can give everybody a couple minutes.
$15,000 for a zero turn, huh? Woo. A zero turn?
Things ain't cheap. You know that.
And I use a push more, you know, so.
One Marketplace.
I challenge you to go to exit 41 with your push mower.
Go on out there and push that.
So we did acquire exit 41, that's our property, right?
We do maintain exit 41, all 4 ramps.
Okay.
Well, I might be partial because nothing runs like a deer. And I have one, so. All right, that's it. We're going to move on to our last department.
That would be a negative, sir.
No? What else you got?
I got about 4 departments.
Oh,
and Powell
sorry. All right. Slow me down.
All right.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Streets and Power Bill 12.
Yep. Thank you, Don. All right, so we're over on the streets piece. I think we've talked about the streets along with Beth and Stormwater, so everybody understands where those salaries on the top went.
Yep.
I do have a question about that employee insurance, and that's 1112. So just the salaries moved to Stormwater and not the employee insurance?
I would have to defer that one to the finance department.
I think when I'm looking at the reduction in the streets, streets, you see an increase in the power bill fund. If you look at employee, if you look at employee insurance, it goes up from 21,000 to 32.
But it's still setting, if you look at, in streets, line item 10,560,1112, it's showing 14,925. Shouldn't that be moved to stormwater, Beth? Or Brittany? That's kind of what I was looking at too. This would pay for Don's building if it's an error. Wouldn't you agree, Don?
Absolutely.
So could you guys circle and look at that? Because I have that marked. I mean, I understand that the benefit package along with salaries move completely over to stormwater, and that probably should have moved with it. So it's 14,925 to the plus, unless it did get moved over, which I don't know. Brittany, you'd have to see if it did get moved over. Okay. Anything else on streets?
Mayor, I have a question.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Don, utilities, $230,000?
Yes, ma'am.
What are,
We pay for the street lights.
oh, okay. Yeah, I'm looking at that. Well, you guys are running some expensive buildings over there.
No, ma'am, that's for the town.
Okay, got it. But aren't most of those solar?
Oh, no, ma'am.
No?
They're LEDs, but they're not solar.
Through my HOA.
Okay, that answers that question. Thank you.
And you know, speaking of that, Don, you know, there's a gentleman over in Sturbridge still looking for a light for the entrance. The DOT took it. Saw the guy not too long ago. He asked me, "How's that coming, Mayor?" I said, "Well, DOT's got it. They'll put it up whenever they get to it."
Yes, sir.
All right, anything else on streets before we move down to the bottom, which is power bill fund?
If I can interject one point for the board to ponder. You know, we did the street survey in 2019. It was reported in January of 2020, I believe. At that time, we were told that it would take, it would take $800,000 a year to maintain our roads in the condition that they were in. For the monies that we get for power bill right now, the recommended match that the town should consider is $1.5 million a year. And rather than putting money into our streets, we're taking it out and putting, you know, salaries in other departments. So just something to think about.
Don.
Sir.
I recall that had to be about maybe 6 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, when we did the road maintenance study.
That's what I was talking about.
And I remember it was up there because you gave us a total amount. It took about somewhere between $5 and $8 million to bring them up to standards at one time, something like that.
At that time, yes, sir. It was pretty considerable at that time.
So now
it's way up there.
Wow.
That study's 7 years old now.
Okay.
Isn't it 22 million? Did I hear 22 million somewhere for our streets?
Folks would guess between 22 and $26 million to do all the repairs.
That's what we've been told, yeah.
Just so everybody knows that the zero-turn commercial mower for $16,500 is replacing a piece of equipment that's 24 years old.
Wow. So we get our money's worth.
I think it's outlived its usefulness. I just wanted everybody to know, and that's in the budget. I mean, after 24 years, I mean, I'm surprised you can even find parts for it. All right, anything else?
Are we on Powell bill now?
Yep, that's where we are now.
Can you explain the construction improvements for $850,000? What all does that include? Or is that just an estimate?
Well, actually, it's not an estimate. Last year, we came to the board and said that we wanted to do a full-depth repair on about a half mile of Bretton Woods Drive, and that's the estimate cost for it, so we budgeted for it, so it would be in the budget. Our engineer that we had doing it kind of fell off the radar, so last week we reissued a request for proposals from other engineering firms so we can keep that project moving along.
Do we need to bid on those, that project?
The construction, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. And do we know that that's the exact amount that,
Oh, no, that's walking it with an engineer doing a preliminary look at it, saying these are the kinds of things that we're gonna need, and it's gonna cost X number of dollars.
so was this the old estimate from the contractor that is gone, or is this something new?
That's not something new, that's from the engineer that's gone, but engineering estimates tend to be relatively consistent, because when an engineer will do an estimate, they all have programs that will tell you, you know, that for a mile of roadway, you need X number of tons of base course, X number of tons of asphalt and stuff like that. So all those numbers are relative constant. The big variable comes in when it goes out to bid for a company. You might have a company that owns their own vibratory rollers or something like that, and they don't have to go out and rent them. So the cost of the equipment rental tends to go down, you know, because they're using their own, or if they're close by and they don't have to put crews up in hotels and stuff like that. So there's a number of variables that influence what you get when you're actually talking the cost of the contract or the bid price of the contract.
I see that, but when it comes to the bid process, and you already have an estimate, isn't that telling the people that are bidding that that's exactly what the town is gonna pay regardless of their estimate on the project? That's a concern to me, is
Well,
when you put it out, when you put it out there to these people that are gonna bid on it, say, well, this is what the town's gonna pay, so that's exactly what I'm gonna ask for.
Okay, well, this is something that I think I would have to defer to the town attorney to make sure I'm not speaking out of turn. But when we ask for an engineer to come out and look at something, and they give us an estimate, that is a public document, and anybody can ask for it.
Well,
So that information is there. None of that is kept secret.
No, I'm not saying that it's kept secret. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is if we're bidding it out and they already see that we have an estimate for $850,000, they're gonna start. They're gonna say the town's gonna pay us that much money.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That's where the system doesn't work that way. They might figure out that it's gonna cost $850,000 is our estimate, but they also know that they're competing against a number of other companies.
Exactly.
So, you know, you're not going to get 4 $850,000 quotes.
No, and I understand that part of it. I just don't see the reasoning behind getting an estimate, paying an engineering firm to get an estimate, when we're gonna have people bid on it and have their own.
Well, we have to make sure we have the money.
Well, that's true. That's kind of where I'm going with that.
Okay.
That's all I've got.
Anyone else?
No.
Commissioner Mitchell?
Anything for sanitation?
Lights on? I didn't know if you.
I wasn't understanding the whole process, that's why I was
Yes, ma'am.
asking.
And we skipped sanitation. Does anybody have any questions for sanitation?
No, we didn't skip it. We were there.
Okay, as you were.
We talked about that one with stormwater. I think we talked about it well. Anything else? Everybody good? Don, we thank you.
Thank you.
We may have found you building money. Brittany's got to make sure that she finds it. I think it's there, maybe. Okay, our last department that's up before us tonight is one that is booming. I'm telling you, every week, there's more and more people that comment about our Parks and Rec services and the programs.
Yeah.
And I let off tonight talking about the lake park. It is on fire at the lake park. It really, really is. People are parking everywhere. They love the lake. They're enjoying the lake, along with the hive that we've got here in the main park. So I just kind of wanted to give Lamarco a little segue that all of our departments are important to every resident in Hope Mills, every one of them.
Thank you, Mayor.
But as we're standing here, there are kids out there on that ball field that are enjoying ball games tonight. Well, Lamarco.
My segue is, we've cut to bare bones.
Yeah, I know.
Can't go too many other places to cut. If you look at all of my line items, just about every one of them was reduced. I think the most drastic was departmental supplies. We went down tremendously, and we'll make that work. But also, we cut training and travel. Went from $19,000 split between 3 divisions to $6,000. And so travel and training is geared towards folks that need CEUs or training to keep their certifications. And we've done away with any out-of-state travel or training. So all training needs to be tied to training get in North Carolina or online or through our North Carolina Recreation and Parks Association. We belong to that association for a reason, because they have plenty training opportunities. And so those are the things we're going to be looking at for all of our folks that need to continue their education for their license or certifications.
The Parish House. Seems like ever since we acquired that building, we've been paying money on that thing. Great day.
All right, let's go there.
What, this $9,000?
So, Drew, I know he's not here anymore. That particular line item is for the utilities and the internet. We just didn't change the name. It's really the chapel.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we pay utilities, the internet for the locks, things of that nature. And then also any repairs that may come up, we use that account to pay repairs related to plumbing and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. So that's about the average cost?
Yes.
I'm looking.
Based on historical data and what we paid last year, we kind of came back and with buildings that age, and not the restroom per se, but there is old plumbing and piping that was associated with the parish house and the chapel that we've had to go back in and cap or do something to address some type of drainage or plumbing problem within the chapel, even though there's no longer restrooms. We're still dealing with some of remnants of old piping and lack of as-built drawings. And so periodically we'll find something that we didn't realize was there. And so some of those repairs are associated with those type of things.
Any other comments on this page? Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you. On the 10-620-5000, where you had fuel all the way, you know what? Am I on the wrong line? I'm on the wrong line.
Yes.
Facilities, the 10-620-4501, rental and lease facilities, you had 0 all those years, and now there's 50,000 there. What is that for?
So that's more associated with our basketball, and I'm finding out with volleyball and now cheerleading. So those are the fees that we anticipate if we do another lease with the T.J. Robinson Center. That will be the leasing for that building, and considering also in that looking at part-time salaries.
Mayor, I have a question on.
Commissioner Hamilton?
I'm looking at that budget request, and I think I asked this question before. These part-time employees, are they current employees?
Yes.
So why are we budgeting extra money for them to go out to T.J. Robinson when they would be working anyway?
So they've been working additional hours. So these are current employees, but these will be employees that will be working extra because they have their set schedule. But to work the T.J. Robinson Center, we would have additional staff to pull from the rec leaders that would have to go to the T.J. Robinson Center. So essentially, they wouldn't be working the same hours. They'd be working additional hours.
They couldn't be scheduled to not work additional hours?
How would you then schedule for?
I don't know, I'm not the scheduler to department.
It'd be an additional hours, and I would say on average, each of the rec leaders that worked during the basketball season, on average, probably work an additional 3 hours per pay period, just to staff the T.J. Robinson Center.
Okay. All right, thank you.
LaMarco, there was a new line item, lease agreement with a proposal of $6,500. What was that for?
That was for the, well, and I know this is a touchy subject, but we use the VFW and quite a bit now with the committees. And that was just our attempt to, we use the lights, we use the utilities. And that was our attempt to help with the operational costs for the times that we do use the building. So that's what that cost us for. It wasn't a lease per se, but it was to assist with operational costs. My understanding is operational costs for the VFW is like $15,000 a year. Yeah. And during the week when it's not being used, we're using utilities. In addition to that, which you all may or may not know, we kind of brokered that deal with Meals on Wheels. And so Meals on Wheels runs out of the VFW now at no cost. 5 days a week. And so since we are partners in that and we brokered that deal because we couldn't house them over in Parks and Recreation, that's also additional use of, electricity to prepare the meals during the daytime when they're there. So it was just our gesture with the use of their building with our committees and the Meals on Wheels program, which was a deal that we helped facilitate and we're part of. That was the justification for that line item.
Okay. I can surely understand Meals on Wheels, operating out of the VFW building. Okay, anything else on this page? Commissioner Marley?
Just a question, something I noticed. Says maintenance and repair to parks.
Which number is it?
10-6-20-4-0-0-1. There's nothing budgeted, but and I may be wrong. I may be looking at something totally off here, but
So what we did there in previous years, because as far as maintenance, it was kind of separate, and this is back when Jamie was working here. She had a set budget for the things that she did, as far as the building side of building and maintenance, and then we had ground and field maintenance. About 2 years ago, we consolidated those, and I think Drew just didn't delete that line item. So we consolidated everything, and everything's under athletics and maintenance.
Yeah.
So on these budget requests, looks like there's asking for an increase to cover playground expenses, and it even talks about taking money or taking funding from another line item to cover the cost. I mean, there's kids playing on this playground equipment. Is that the same? Are we talking about the same thing here, like maintenance of the playground equipment?
No,
splash
actually
pad,
the playground is the playground and the splash pad has their own line item.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question.
I just want to make sure we're not skimping on maintenance, and we got kids out there, crawling all over that stuff, and
yeah, we
definitely don't need no.
Because the playground and splash pad is its own separate animal, and we want to really capture what those costs are. We kind of gave those to, especially the splash pad. That cost kind of snuck up on us the first year, especially with the water and the utilities, and so they have their own line item.
I will clarify to Commissioner Marley, the athletics line item for repair is $40,000. I think that speaks to what Mr. Morrison spoke about, them being consolidated. And so it's under the athletics and field maintenance tab section that where you're seeing that deficit in park maintenance has been added on that.
Yeah, everything associated with maintenance, because we kind of moved everybody under that umbrella, and so we kind of consolidated everything and moved all the funds. So we didn't really reduce it. We just moved funds from the 620 to the 622.
I just want to make sure we have money in there to cover what 50 years. We got to keep people safe if they're gonna utilize our parks and, you know, I just wanna make sure.
I got
Appreciate the explanation.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Hamilton?
Marco, I'm going to go back to the VFW thing. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I was told that the VFW was not going to be paid, that it was a voluntary thing for them to do that for the town. And I'll go back and watch the video, I mean, if I have to, but I agree with the Meals on Wheels, maybe, but not to pay the VFW after all of the conversation that we had. And that it was basically said that we will not ever pay the VFW. They're doing that out of the goodness of their hearts. So, like I said, I'll go back and watch the video, but that's what I got out of that meeting.
Another point of order, the department head requested budget for the VFW was 6,000.
I see it, yes.
The recommended managers is 0.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
It's not in there.
Okay, but it was, yeah, okay, got it.
It's not in there. Anything else on this page?
I still have a question.
Okay. Commissioner Mitchell.
On the 626 safety equipment, you're right. Let me see, hold on, make sure I'm looking at it right. Going across 0. Now, gotta have safety equipment.
That 620?
Huh?
So that's another situation where we used to have 2 maintenance people that fell up under 620 administration. I didn't feel like that was a proper place for those 2 positions, so we moved everybody into the maintenance side, which is the 622. So all of your safety equipment is going to be in 10, 622, 6580. So there, so it's on the maintenance and athletic side of the.
So make sure them gloves and stuff is there in place.
Yep.
Okay, are we finished with programs and events?
No, sir. I'm sorry, no, sir. I got a question. The Armed Forces Memorial, there's nothing budgeted in for that. Does that cover repairs to that memorial? I know it's an older monument and it.
Well, 2 things happen with
requires
that.
Maintenance, and I know they're doing. The reason why I was asking is because they're doing road construction.
That's one of the reasons why we didn't ask for anything, because, you know, it's probably gonna be a while before we're able to do anything to the Veterans Memorial because of construction. I figured if anything minor comes up as far as the Veteran Memorial, we can probably look at that under their request of $5,000.
I mean, I just want to make sure we protect that.
Yeah, that was my thinking. I mean, I didn't want to top any money in the Veterans Memorial, knowing that construction is probably going to be there for another year, 2 years.
But we can fix what we got money in other places that we can maintain it. You know,
something. I mean, minor repairs. And I'm hoping that when DOT's finished, they're gonna pay the cost to beautify and bring it back to its original state. Anyway,
but they will.
We're expecting that. So.
But they will.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, but they will.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you. Is the howitzer still staying, or has it got to go?
Say it again.
The howitzer.
The equipment.
Yep.
It's fine where it is. We made sure it wasn't gonna be impacted.
And the reason I asked this, because a lot of folks have asked about it as they travel up and down. They look over there, and you know, they said, "Well, is that going to remain?" And I said, "I will ask just to make sure, because things change with DOT."
Back when they were doing the design, we had a couple of meetings with them and determined that it wasn't going to be impacted. We even thought about moving it to the maintenance building over the golf course, but decided to leave it there because it's not going to be impacted.
Okay. All right. Anything else on programs and events? That's the page you're on. Nothing? Everybody good? All right. Turn the page. We'll go to athletics field maintenance. There's a lot of stuff happening on this page.
That's where most of your funding for all of your maintenance needs, it moved from 620 to the 622.
That's where you'll find the parks, splash pad, school fields, golf course. Now, speaking of that, LaMarco, is this where we're paying to have it cut?
Yes.
That's the $21,000 per year?
That's the mowing and then any other repairs. So we pay for maintenance that we might have to do from the golf course. The maintenance contract is around, the mowing contract is around $15,000.
Okay.
And also, if there's any, periodically, we get a lot of rain, like we did one year, sometimes we have to have the contract to do additional cuts, more than what's required, the 2 cuts per month in the contract. Sometime with the Bahia grass and heavy rains, the grass gonna grow, you know, a lot more. And so periodically we might ask them, or if there's an instance where we have a cross-country meet and they need to come out and cut, we'll have them come out and cut additional for any cross-country meets we might have. So that's why we have a little bit extra there, more than what the contract calls for.
Okay. In past years, on 6/22/12/79, in past years, we have not paid the Youth Association, but you've got $3,500 for this year.
We have, there has been a line item for the Youth Association, and that goes towards, you know, their, I want to say their drawing a blank here, trophies and things of that nature. There's not a cost for, I know each year we found money to pay for them to travel and things of that nature. That's not what this money is for. It's to pay for trophies, shirts, and things associated with the league.
Well, the reason I say that, LaMarco, because 24-25 actual was 0, and then the in-year balance of this year is 0. And then it's recommend department's 35, and then manager recommends 35. So did we not pay them?
I don't think it came out of this line item. It came out of one of the athletics accounts.
Okay.
Yeah, but contractually, the agreement we have with them, I want to say it's around $2,500 or $3,500. If you go back and look at the contract, the agreement that we have with them, that comes up every 3 years, the Youth Association.
Okay. And then Diamond Youth Baseball is $2,000. And what's that 2,000 cover for that?
Same thing for yep.
Mayor, I have a question.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
I'll get you, Commissioner Hamilton. So, later on this year, in a few months from now, we're going to have some ball teams that's going to go to the World Series. So when they come looking for a donation from the town, what are we going to tell them?
I'm going to say, tell us where to get the money from. We don't have a budget for it.
And I'm saying this out of my heart, because every year, and it's going to happen this year, we're going to have 2 or 3 teams that's going to go to the World Series, and it is hard for these parents and kids to raise money to go to play in the World Series. So, and we try to give them at least something, but if we don't budget that something, then we're pulling it out of somewhere.
In previous years, we have taken some of these funds that's in like Diamond Youth, and we didn't give them money per se, but we gave them gas cards to travel down to Louisiana, whatever. Right. Instead of giving them money. So we have done that out of those accounts in previous years. We just don't budget for the hotel stays and the meals, et cetera. I think one year the request was $18,000, and
yep.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Last year when they came before the board, they was talking about raising money, and I said, please reach out to me, get with me so we can partner with other organizations to raise funds. Not one time have anyone reached out to me about raising funds. You know, I mean, and I don't mind providing funds, but here we are. We just was talking about, Commissioner Hamilton was talking about the VFW getting money, providing a service to the community, to the town, our seniors and everything, as well as anyone that comes down there and needs support. However, we will give money to organizations of this nature, and we have to really look at that, because let's face it, with the escalation of utilities and cost of everything, money got to come from somewhere, because let's face it, by us letting everybody use our building every day now, our utilities has went up. And we got to find a way to pay for it. And I'm going to tell you right now, Right now, our budget is in the toilet. We are getting ready to hit the ground running, trying to conduct fundraisers right now, hitting every place we can to raise the funds to be sustainable. Not operational, but sustainable. So we're going to have these discussions. We need to have some hard discussions. Who need the support that's going to benefit this community better? I love our kids. How many times did our VFW give to those organizations when we had the funds to give? Every time they came, and that's because we work collectively together to make that happen. And we can do this again, collectively working together. So those organizations that come before us say they want money, have them reach out to these organizations. Matter of fact, you have the chamber that will partner with some of them as well to conduct fundraisers. So there's opportunities are there, but we have to begin to unify and work as a unit of one in order to get that done.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Hamilton?
You brought up the part about paying for the grass out on the golf course.
The mowing.
How much did you say you're paying for that?
I want to say the contract's around $15,000 per year.
No, actually, because I asked for that contract, I had a question about that. And it's $1,300 biweekly, so that's $2,600 a month is the contract. So that's about $31,000 a year.
Not, they don't cut for the whole year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They
Okay, I'm like, what are we doing here? Where's?
They start around April, depending on, I think they started late this year because the grass started growing late. And then, they can go up to, the first week of September, depending on how the season is. Yeah. But yeah, only
Yeah,
about.
because you scare me there. I'm going, okay, what are we doing here? But okay, that explains it. Thank you.
Commissioner Tremble?
Question.
Okay.
Two questions. With the mowing, are we looking at all of saving money rather than contracting that out? Do we have the personnel, equipment, or anything that we could do that for cheaper?
We didn't know, it wouldn't be cheaper. We did a cost analysis on that, and we were asked to, because we'd have to buy a tractor or a suitable a suitable piece of equipment. And with a staff member, you really need 2 staff members, but we looked at maybe 1 staff member and equipment, you're looking at $70,000.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. And then,
And that was on the conservative side of things. Could be more, but that was, low salary, et cetera.
okay, I just wanted to ask that. Also on 10-622-6500, the department supplies, that is a pretty big jump. What always in there that is such a large figure from the estimated year end?
It is, but we kind of looked at what our inventory is now, and most of that is for office supplies, and we got plenty. We got plenty. I did go back and talk to Brenda, and I showed her the number because she's the one that orders everything from departmental supplies, and she assured me we can make it work with what we have there. Yeah, we have plenty of ink cartridges and.
So, but, yeah, it went from 6,200 to 36,000 on that line. And that's why I was wondering why.
Yeah, 25-26 budget was 7,000, and then this year's budget, it jumped to 36.
Oh, so are you on the athletic side or the?
Athletics.
Athletics, field maintenance.
The 622-6500.
Oh, I'm on the other side.
Sorry.
Well, we look at the cost of materials now. So that particular line item, that's all of your chalks, grass seed, and we looked at what we've actually spent. And so basically looking at what the cost of doing business is now, and that's more realistic. I mean, the cost of all that stuff gone up tremendously. And we got expanded parks. You got to consider, we got additional facilities now. We have Heritage Park, we have, the splash pad. We also have the chapel. So, so we're looking at what we spent in previous years and just trying to be realistic on what the maintenance side of the organization is going to need as far as departmental supplies.
Okay, I appreciate it.
When I seen that escalation in costs, I thought, what made me think about? I wonder if they factored in the Christmas, lights and decoration we was talking about buying, because I don't think I've seen a line out.
Well, I think that has its own line now.
It's 10,000. Okay, we're still okay.
We cut that too. That used to be 20. It used to be 20.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, had to.
It's an increase of about $29,000 for the supplies. He said that includes things for the field as well?
Fields and it's both fields, grounds, and buildings.
So this is not an annual cost, this is just because of you gotta do a lot of replenishment and stuff this year, or that's what you expect to be a continuation of costs?
A continuation of cost.
How could it go from 7,000 to 36 in one?
My suspicion that it was underfunded in previous years, and this is your actual. Yeah.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you. I was looking at all the pages for Parks and Rec, and for your contract services is $224,650 worth of contract services. Is there like a breakdown of why? I know we got that earlier, but I'm just wondering, so under Parks and Recreation, your contract services is that $76,650, and then under Program and Events, your contract services is $38,000.
So
under Parks and
a lot of that are ongoing contracts, and several of them. We have the HVAC contract with Brady. We also have contracts with Centos. So I don't have all the contracts with me, but on the park side, those are ongoing contracts. Also, there's a certain amount that goes towards internet and computers. So those are all ongoing contracts that we have from the administration side. As far as the $38,000 in programs, those are all of our contract services where we do a 70-30 split. So we have to pay our instructors up front a lot of times, and then we do a 30-70 split. But then also with some of that, we kind of try to balance what we offer. Some of our programs are free to seniors. And so a lot of those contract instructors, even though we don't get any revenue from that, for our seniors and being citizens of Hope Mills, we offer a lot of those classes and instructions for free. And but the town funds those instructors. And so a lot of those, there's too many to mention, but we have several contract instructors that come out of contract services.
Mayor Pro Tem, if not to interrupt, but if the listed spreadsheet I passed out, just under the three different departments, Parks and Rec, Athletics, and things of that nature, you have 38 separate contracts on the Parks and Rec, and I think they range from everything from individual instructors to Brightleaf software and things of that nature. I think what she's doing is combining all of them together. It does sound like a lot, but there's a significant amount of contracts that do make up that amount.
I want to say one of the big ones we have, and it actually saves us a lot of money. We pay a contractor to facilitate us with officials for all of our games, and that's a big contract we do yearly because across the board, most municipalities, they actually pay more. If we were to pay those officials, I mean, we're talking $50, $60 a game, a game. It's a lot cheaper to go with an agency to provide those. And so that's one of athletics' bigger contracts is the officials.
So what's the $100,000? 10,621, 1271, continued services program instruction.
1271. Hold on.
It went from $45,746 in 2024. Then it went to $40,048, and then it's $110, and it's $100,000.
Here again, we're looking at that line item it's been underfunded for years, and we kind of took a look at what we've been paying and what we're going to pay. A previous commissioner said, to keep us from doing budget amendments, are we going to start asking for, as close to the amount of money we pay in those for those services? And so that's essentially what we've paid in the past, and had to go back and amend that because from instructions to the cost of contract service, and those contract services can be anything from, what we pay for events, special events. and also, like I say, our instructors. And then here again, we even got more, we offer more programs now, which means we got to pay more people for the amount of programs. I think we've actually added 12 more programs this year, and more anticipated. Also with that, along with, staff getting raises, a lot of our instructors this year are asking for an increase. They've gotten increases in Fayetteville. And so we also want to budget for a slight increase on what we pay our instructors. I think some of them are $22 a class. I think we're looking at something like $24 or $25.
Question, Mr. Mayor. Go ahead. Income generators or revenue generators, do you have a rough guess what you're looking at in the Parks and Recs departments? Don't have to be exact, but a round ballpark figure?
Plus or minus $400,000.
Plus or minus 400K?
Yep.
So a lot of activity that pays for itself.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Might be more than that. One of the areas that we hadn't realized revenue in the past, I mean, we've actually increased 60%, and that's in open gym, the fitness area, and pickleball, and then of course reservations. We've really raked in revenue in the reservations, something we hadn't done in previous years. So.
Okay. LaMarco, what are we doing with Charlotte and the T.J. Robinson Life Center?
Right now, that's up to you guys, you all. I made sure that I put.
What is your proposal for next year?
Say it again?
What is your proposal for next year?
You say proposal, rental wise or?
Rental wise.
That's what the $50,000. The $50,000 was for the lease.
Okay.
Lease for a facility. Yep. Mainly for basketball, but we're running out of space. Cheerleading has grown 30%, and they want their own space. And so I've been in talks with Charlotte of perhaps moving cheerleading, and if need be, maybe look at volleyball also.
Good, Brian.
Who?
Brian.
Oh, Mr. Mark.
I was going to wait and let him finish. I just had a ask or a comment when we get done with LaMarco.
Oh, okay. I'm not done yet, almost.
Okay.
So the budget recommended is $50,000 for.
T.J. Robinson Center? I think so, yep.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yep.
That it's actually 50,000.
It's under 620-4501. That's what that $50,000 that hadn't been funded for years. We Drew asked me to use that line item instead of adding another one, to use that line item for.
Well, the reason I say that's because it's recommended 50,000. You recommended 50,000, but the manager recommended 7,400. That's the reason I'm asking.
That's the line above it, I believe.
That's 620, 4,500.
4501. 4501 is.
Oh, the one below it. Okay. Yep. Okay, gotcha.
The one above that is associated with the fitness room. We're releasing that equipment.
All right, last thing on that last page in this section, surveillance cameras, 3 of them for $1,000 apiece. Who monitors those cameras?
We monitor them, and then we also give access to the police department.
Chief, do you guys monitor these closely, these cameras?
I'll add, the vandalism that happened at the Vic Blends basketball court, we caught them in real time in less than 24 hours because of the cameras.
Chief, would asset forfeiture pay for these cameras? I believe they do.
I don't.
Because I believe the cameras should, I believe they should belong in your budget. That's where I'm going. So that's a yes.
You have to look at it because I'm not sure.
We can authorize purchase, but we have priorities like
Yes.
Okay.
And
It could be something that we'd explore. I mean, we'd love to help Lamarca with that. We'd love to expand our camera program, but right now we have bulletproof vests, MPPs, and desktops that are no longer supported by Windows 10.
That's it.
Those kind of things.
Okay. It's just a question because I know you guys monitor them, and, you know, that's the reason I'm asking. I mean, every penny counts. I mean, every penny counts in this budget. And if we can find ways to pay for those cameras, because I know you guys monitor them, that would save a little bit of money for Lamarco. Let's see, what else is in here? No picnic tables, no backpack weeds. Tennis court, 40,000.
Didn't make it. I get calls twice a week at least, but.
Is 40,000 going to do it? That's the question I have.
Yes, I got another estimate. It was $35,000, I think, previous years. I got a fresh estimate from actually the gentleman that did the Vic Blends tennis court. He does, basketball court. He does all sports courts, and I asked him to give me a good number for the tennis courts. And so that would be the cost to resurface and to line those courts for pickleball.
Okay. Because I was just thinking of how beautiful and nice those basketball courts are.
Yep, would be nice, but how are we gonna pay for them?
Yeah.
That's the question.
So there's no additional funding for the basketball courts. We're good there, right?
Yeah, the basketball courts are fine. The tennis court's not funded, but I caution in letting people use that thing because you got the potholes. It's not really good surface for ADA reasons, but yet people still play on it. And I want to say further deterioration is going to probably yield us to having to close it because it's really not safe. I mean, I wouldn't play on it now because of the amount of potholes in the surface.
I thought we closed on one time, didn't we?
Maybe before my time.
Well, Mark, I agree with the 40,000 because I mean it is a safety concern. You know, that is a need because a lot of people use that, and then of course when you resurface, you'll resurface not only for tennis but for pickleball as well, outdoor. So that's the main piece. There's added value to that 40,000 to the community. Commissioner Marley?
I just had to ask, with the list of contracts, and the town manager's probably gonna look at me like I'm crazy and tell me he's already done it, but I was just gonna ask, is there any way, I mean, because I know every department's listed on here is pretty healthy document, and I appreciate it, but is there any way you could get with each department head and review all these contracts and make sure they're still current and sufficient to what we need?
Yes, sir.
Make sure we're not paying for something that we're
We
not utilizing or don't need.
we did that initially, which is when we we were able to find a distinction between contracts that were tied to or training that was tied to essential issues. Because if you're talking about like a maintenance contract, Don will tell you there's a maintenance contract on the elevator repair. There's contracts on those. So those we can't. We did go through that pretty extensively, but we'll go through it again. One of the things is probably gonna get my head cut off for saying this, but there are contracts that we kind of contemplated that we didn't cut. 4th of July, Christmas, these are all contracts.
The work order software that we have been getting every year at the tune of $25,000, we actually got a better, I don't know, it's better, more user-friendly, cheaper. It's $12,000. Yeah. So instead of $25,000 for work order software, $12,000.
We can look through it again though.
And I'm sure y'all shop around, but I mean, it's kind of like insurance. I mean, I think we should shop these contracts every year.
Yep.
You know, and just, you know.
Unless you're tied to a 3-year contract like
I was going to say, we'll do an analysis to see which ones were locked in, but wherever we can cut and trim some additional funds, we'll do that as well.
Commissioner Marley, I wanted to add to that. I was going to, when we got down to the discussion about public hearing, I was going to recommend to the board that our next workshop would be June 1st. And one of those workshops is to go through these contracts again, completely by department. And because there's a tremendous amount of funding that's wrapped up in all the contracts across the town. So my proposal was another budget workshop at 6 o'clock, June 1st, a week from now. And then we'll talk about the public hearing probably June 8th. But I was just gonna recommend that we
It
really
might
find,
save some time if the manager, that, when we had that, discussion, if he could bring us back a
Yeah.
final draft report of all the
that's-
contracts.
I'll do that. I'll bring it to that meeting in that way, or actually, I'll probably get it to you beforehand. That way you can look through it, and that'll make the June 1st hearing a lot more productive.
gotta be detailed, Chancellor.
Yeah.
I mean, it gotta be what the amount is, the detail of it, and the need,
Yeah, there you go.
value, the value.
Required versus desired. Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
also, when you bring these contracts back, we need to be prepared to have the hard discussion, hard to talk. Do we want to have the 4th of July celebration? Do we want to have the other events that we're paying money for? We have to have these hard discussions because the citizens they say they don't want tax increases. Okay, so what are we going to make the tough cuts on? What decisions got to be made? And we're going to need the citizens' input on those things as well. Because when we got to make cuts, we got to make cuts to fall within the guidelines of no taxes. And it's not going to be easy. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Mitchell. Commissioner Hamilton?
Lamarck, I just have a question, just for my information, because it's hard for me to tell. I'm not used to this system that you're using. When you have your budget request, for example, for 10-620, then account number 1270, and that's under contract services. It says you'd be over the budget by $8,564. The requested funding level is $64,500. But when I look at 620-1270, it says $76,650. So that's what confuses me. I can't tell. It's hard to tell whether or not it's been approved or not approved, because these numbers don't seem to match up according to it's the account number 10-620-1270, Department 620. His current funding level $45,000, but that doesn't match up with 1270 unless I'm not looking at it right. But it says contract services, and there is $45,000, but that was a 2025 budget. And then it goes to requested budget is $76,650, and the manager's recommended is $76,000. The $45,000 was for 2025, which was the last budget, which I guess is correct. But then it says requested funding level $64,500, but it's currently at $76,650. So it doesn't seem to be adding up to me, unless I'm wrong.
Well, when we ask for that number, if you look at that middle column, it says estimated year-end balance. That lets me know that, by the time we get to June,
Right, but it says requested funding level $64,500, and it's at $76,650. I'm looking, yeah, 620-1270 contract services, and I see where it says 2025 budget was $45,000. It's in your budget request. Requested funding level $64,500. But when I look at the requested funding, it's for $76,650. Okay.
LaMarco, what she's talking about is your budget request item. Talked about HVA services and fitness room maintenance and contract services tied to an increase, and you asked for a requested funding level of $64,000. What you're seeing in the budget book is the estimated year-end spend, which is $76,000, even though you budgeted for $45,000 last year. So the recommended budget this year is $76,650, and the manager's recommended budget is $76,550. I think she's asking where the
But what I'm looking at, it says requested funding level $64,500. So that it tells me that the manager requested $64,500. Is that correct?
No. The department had initially submitted a request to increase the funding level to $64,000. When we started going through the budget, it went up to 76.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, that's one of the things I looked at, and it's going, well, those numbers don't add up at all. So should it?
The number on the sheet with the explanation should have been, 76,000.
Okay, so it is correct in the budget then, 70s, okay, all right. Thank you.
It's like you can't allow him to go work through the budget and realize I need a little bit more money. That's it.
Free up some money yet.
Well, one of the things, and that's the reason why I'll say again, I was gonna recommend another workshop on June 1st at 6, is to comb the contracts. You know, we kind of rushed through them a lot last year. We probably didn't do the due diligence that we should have. I'll just say that. But I think this year, being of where we are, and Brittany, you have really put together a nice package, and Chancellor, and the two of you will bring back something for us on June 1st, where we'll take a deep dive, because these are hard conversations and hard cuts. So it's going to require us to take a deep dive and do some due diligence. Anybody got any more comments for Lamarco? Because I got to circle back to Don. Okay, Lamarco, we thank you, sir. Don, yeah, there was one thing in sanitation that I jumped over and I should have said, and you should have said it, is that there is an increase from waste management, Don, and the sanitation line item, and I kind of wanted, if you come forward, sir, and kind of brief that, what that increase is, so folks know the increase in the budget in the sanitation piece related to WM. That would be waste management.
We've got a couple of different things when it comes to our waste management contract. Waste management does both our household waste and our recycling. Recycling has gone up because of the flow-through. Pratt Industries actually does the recycling, and their price, flow-through price has increased from $40 a ton to $60 a ton. So we have to absorb that. And then also for the waste management themselves, very similar to a lot of things you do with budget. We look at things like the CPI and see what the consumer price index is doing. When you're talking in a waste industry, what they look at is called a WST. It's waste, sewer, or it's water, sewer, and trash, and what those prices are doing. And they will look at those, and that's the index that they give us. So like this year's index went up 5% for the WST, and then the recycling, in addition to the price for processing it, we had to pay the additional flow-through for the recycling.
I just wanted for Don to state that on the record so folks can see that just like everything else, everything's going up. Well, waste management is going up as well, and that's reflected in the sanitation tab 13 page. When you look at that, you'll see the increased cost, and I wanted Don to explain that on the record. So, Don, I thank you very much. Before we move on, there's another item that we talked about at our last budget workshop. I sent out an email today asking about the reclassification of task force officers. I think all of you read that, plus I made a copy to hand out. I would like to, and I asked Chancellor earlier if we could just have an informational piece, probably from Leanne or Brittany, on what this would look like on the reclassification duties and responsibilities of our task force officers. So if the board will permit, I think Leanne will come forward and give us a little bit of information, and then we'll move on. Thank you. And Chief, you can add in too if you need to.
These to you. Okay. So I was asked to look into reclassification for full-time task force officers. Currently, all of our officers in the police department are assigned to the same pay grade, which is pay grade 19, which does not provide any room for growth for those in specialized positions like the task force officers. So in working with the chief on a job description to get a better idea of what their day-to-day actually is and what sets them aside from just a standard officer, for lack of a better word, actually looked into our current pay grades, and the recommendation I would make would be that would fall into salary grade 21. And per our policy, our personnel policy, if we were to move forward with the reclassification, the 3 employees in the task force that generate revenue, they would be eligible for a 5% increase. So annually for all 3 officers, that's a total of $9,271.35, excluding taxes.
And that's each?
Total.
And you're recommending grade 21?
I'm recommending grade 21, yes. Based off of the specialization and the experience that's required in those roles.
And that's for the 3 officers from the task force that generate?
Correct, so that's our FBI, DEA, and ATF.
ATF, FBI, what was the other one?
FBI, DEA, and ATF.
And that's 9,000 total, is that for this year?
That's a whole annual, that's a whole 12-month, just based off their current salaries.
We start next year.
So it's based off current salaries, current pay grades. So we would adjust a little bit depending on what the COLA and the merit are for next year, but I don't know what those are, so.
But if the board was to go ahead and approve them for the remainder of this year in grade 21, what additional cost would that look like?
I mean, we're talking a month, so.
A month.
Yeah, it'd be very minimal.
And then that would add 9,000 to next year.
A little bit, well, it'd be plus whatever the COLA is in July, but I mean, that's.
Between 9 and 10.
Yeah, say 10, yeah.
Mr. Mayor. I do believe that before we make any move, doing anything of that nature, we roll this over to the back end, like we said initially, to hold the discussion, is where we at financially across the board, because we're at the point where everybody got to lose some, or everybody's got to get some. We know that can't happen, so we got to come up with a way forward so that we can make the best business decisions in the best interest of this community and our finances at this time, especially our budget.
Mitchell, this was just the information.
Okay.
And I do want to point out that these 3 specific officers generate asset forfeiture money. So they more than bring in, there's a delay about a year and a half, 2 years, I think. So we are just now seeing the fruits of that labor from when we started this program a couple years ago. But you can get a report and see in the record of what the assets that are still out there pending. And even though we get a portion of that, there's potentially millions of dollars in the pipeline.
Thanks, Leanne. This will be a part of the budget workshop on June 1st. Thanks for the information. This is kind of what we needed. All right, that's it for all the departments through our budget workshop. We'll move on to item B, Finance Director recommendations for future organizational internal controls. There are no attachments. Brittany? And I will tell you, Brittany, fine job on answering that email today.
Excuse me, can you hit the mic, please?
So I was saying that I hope I can continue to please you guys and make sure I give you honest and open answers and my recommendations from my finance background as we continue to move the town of Hope Mills forward. The email I sent out last week, maybe about 2 weeks ago before we started our budget sessions, was just what I had seen incoming. Now I think it's almost been a month. But this was after the OSA report and just after attending a few meetings, getting accustomed to the accounting system and the financial software, and just using some of my prior experience to see what I could contribute to the town of Hope Mills and where we are currently. I opened up with a statement that I still stand strong on, and I do not believe in creative accounting. When it comes to numbers, they should match. We should be penny for penny and we should know where every penny, where it's going and how it's flowing. So I sent you guys an email with some of the things that I wanted to recommend, and I'll start out with Commissioner Marley had already started it with, we have a lot of reoccurring contracts, but I think we need to look at how competitive those are right now, like in this market. So I haven't been able to fully do my research to see how often have they been bid out. Are we getting the best prices? Is there something that we can streamline some of the services? Are we cross-cutting each other from departments? So that was the part that I mentioned in item number 6 about the coordinating the budget amendments and the contract approvals. With Commissioner Hamilton, she mentioned in a prior council meeting about the budget amendments. So in that section, item number 6 in that email, I was suggesting that the town of Hope Mills use our engineering estimates as internal controls. We don't have to, it's public information, but we don't have to say that, hey, we have X amount of dollars for you guys to come and bid on this contract. With state law, when it comes to procurement, we will award to the lowest and responsive bidder. However, we don't have to give them a threshold to what our lowest may be if we're trying to save money and cut some dollars. So that was item number 6, and I'm going backwards for some reason. Item number 5 was currently the board receives monthly financial updates, and you guys will still receive those. However, I think to dig a little deeper and to offer a little bit more transparency, I'm proposing, along with Chancellor, at least quarterly to present those to the board for the record. And that way, if we have any questions or we're seeing any budget shortfalls mid-year, at least 4 times, that we have time to be proactive and actually do something. And if you guys have questions, I feel like if we can address them the earlier the better, so we can see what services or what programs we may have to trim down as we get from December to January to June. So that time we may be able to implement some more cost-saving measures. Item number 4 is the creates a formal grants management policy, and that's nothing major. Typically, every municipality has something of that manner when you see your grant portfolio starting to increase. So we have to be mindful of the different funding sources, the pots that we're pulling from. Are we starting projects prematurely just because we have the grant funds? We want to make sure that we have the match available and that we're actually spending our time applying for grants that we know that we can utilize, that won't also stress the general fund if there's a crazy match amount that we have to pull from a reserve because we didn't budget for maybe a grant match. So we want to start looking at that. Item number 3 is just part of transparency. And like I said, from the results of the audit, if we just public, and I propose quarterly, if we want to do more frequently, we can decide that together as the board. But I get a listing every Thursday or Friday of every single check, we call it a check register, that the town of Hope Mills, who we have paid, what vendors we have paid, for that whole week. So I'm making the recommendation that that's a public document that we will public on the Town of Hope Mills website, so our citizens can see what vendors we're paying, and it just provides a little bit more transparency when it comes to how the money is flowing, so they can see what we're actually paying out on a consistent basis. Item number 2, I think it was Don, had mentioned that we have, I wrote it down, 150 vehicles and over 180 pieces of equipment. So under my direction, I'm asking that I know where every single piece of equipment and where every vehicle is. So that way we can track, if we know a car is 25 years old, that's gonna be on my fixed assets report. When you guys ask why is maintenance so high, we can say, we're operating off a 25-year-old vehicle that is 400,000 miles, and we're trying to keep it alive. But I feel like that's just being good stewards of taxpayer dollars to know where every zero-turn more is, where every trailer is, wherever are we fully using these cars. You know, since we're looking at costs with these lease programs, do we have any cars just sitting around that we can utilize and would help reduce some of this cost with the lease program. And then the last item is just simply increasing our internal controls and our checks and balances. Sometimes in a smaller municipality, when you're kind of stretched for staff, you have one staff member that does so much that sometimes the separation of duties get intermingled. So I'm looking at a way that we can make sure that there are checks and balances in place so we can just provide an additional level of security when it comes to protecting the town's costs. And my last thing is we were talking about the contracts and how we wanted to move forward. And as the finance director, I have to pre-audit any contract that comes through the town of Hope Mills. So if there's any question of how the town is functioning, or if we don't have the significant funding or the budget to approve that contract, I cannot pre-audit it. And I really hope that we don't nickel and dime our budget to that point that we have to start making those tough decisions. But at the end of this month, we're looking at going on a spending freeze where we are pausing. Unless it's a necessary, absolute need for the town, then we don't need to buy it, because we're trying to prepare for closeout for June 30 of 2026 to see what those final numbers look like as well. So those were the 6 recommendations that I presented to the board, and that I think tonight we just wanted to put them on record. Thank you.
It's exactly what we wanted. Brittany? It's exactly what we wanted.
Mayor, one thing I'd like to add, that everything you just heard is above, beyond, and in addition to every recommendation from OSA. I will say that again. Every recommendation in the audit that we receive, this is an additional system of controls that she has come up with. I want to make sure I speak that into the record, because we're about 60% compliant with the corrective action. But she just outlined a system of additional controls that we're going to put in place in the town of Hope Mills. Thank you.
Well, you know, Chancellor, like I said, I greatly respect and appreciate the state auditor for doing the things that they did and bringing and highlighting the stronger internal controls that we needed. And there's no finger pointing. It's just now we know what we need to do, and the state auditor provided that roadmap for us. And now Brittany has taken that roadmap and she's raising the bar.
That's right.
And that's what you do. I mean, that is exactly what you do. And you learn from the things that you need to fix. And just like contracts, we're getting ready to talk about the next budget workshop and a public hearing. That'll be in item C. And so I kind of wanted to say that as well. And Brittany, I appreciate what you're doing. Quarterly, I do believe we need that. There's no doubt about it, because like I said, we're not going to do 29 amendments next year. We're not going to do 29 budget amendments next year. Nope. We're going to get it right. Okay, item C, consideration public hearing, and that's FY 26-27 proposed budget. My recommendation to the board is that we have another workshop June 1st, which is next Monday. During that workshop, I'd like for the board to look at contracts, which we've talked about, and I would also like to discuss positions. Those are the 2 that we need to look at on June 1st. That would be the next budget workshop at 6, actually. Public hearing, is the board okay with a June 8th special meeting, public hearing at 7?
Yeah, I guess so. That's on a Monday, right?
It's on a Monday. Which means if the board agrees to a public hearing on June 8th, then June 1st, next Monday, we will have a proposed budget. So it's either June 8th or we can move it on out. Then June 16th? June 15th, June 15th? Public hearing. That's a regular meeting now.
Yes, it could be, yeah, no problem. We just streamline. We can make the agenda. Let's streamline the agenda.
Just point of clarification.
I'm getting ready to get there. Actually.
Okay.
So June 15th is our next regular meeting. If we adopt the budget that night, then we'll have the public hearing before the budget adoption.
That'll work.
we gotta have the public hearing before. So it's either we have a separate meeting for public hearing, or we do it all on June 15th.
June 15th.
June 8th, can we do the public hearing on June 8th?
Why not, why not the hour before?
Can we do the public hearing on June 8th and then the budget on the 15th? I don't know.
Yes. Let's do it, what about on the?
You guys decide now.
I don't wanna rush it.
I mean, our next workshop's gonna be June 1st,
Right,
which means we have to the end of the month to approve a budget.
and we can meet the hour before our regular meeting.
And Ashley's she's got to post.
Can I ask for clarity?
Yeah.
Question for clarity. If I can, for clarity. So what I heard was if June 1st is the proposed workshop, June 8th is the proposed public hearing, but we can only have a public hearing if the budget is approved.
No, it's proposed. It's proposed. We approve it after the public hearing. Yep,
So we can have the public hearing on the 8th,
yep.
but we would need to adopt the budget on the 15th.
We can adopt it on the 15th.
But here's,
Thank you.
well, here's the question.
Thank you.
But
We
Mr.
don't
Question,
have to adopt it on the
here's the question.
Okay, one at a time. Commissioner Mitchell next, and then Hamilton.
Can we have the public hearing, we done it in the past, at 6 o'clock on the 15th, and then have the regular meeting approval of the budget? We've done that before in the past.
Commissioner Hamilton.
I don't really wanna rush anything. I think we should do them separate, that's just my opinion. I don't wanna rush into any of this. We need to make sure what we're doing is correct.
Let's go ahead.
Commissioner
Can
Tremmel?
can we do the public hearing on the 15th? And then just from that, I don't see how we can approve a budget the same night. That feels rushed to me. Like if we do the public hearing on the 15th and then come back and we'll do a special meeting or something on 22nd or whatever. We have till the end of the month. I don't think that we can have a public hearing and approve the budget on the same night. That feels rushed to me.
That's why I was recommending June 8th. That's a public hearing.
So Mayor, that was my recommendation, to have the workshop on the 1st, have the public hearing on the 8th, and then you can do the adoption on the 15th. Also, the concern about starting a public hearing before a regular meeting is that it may not end by the time the regular meeting starts.
No, we need to keep it in the regular meeting at 7. Yeah.
Yeah, so having the separate public hearing on the 8th.
The 8th will be at 7. The workshop on June 1st will be at 6.
Okay.
The public hearing will be at 7.
Okay.
And
It'll be a special meeting.
You can limit the duration of the public hearing. So you don't have to be here all night. You can set a reasonable limit on the.
I want a reasonable time, Dan, and 7 o'clock would be a reasonable time for the public to come for the public hearing. The budget workshop it's that's our time. But for the public hearing will be for the public. And then we can adopt the budget after the public hearing. It don't have to be the 15th.
Do we need another workshop to discuss the public stuff plus questions that we might have that have come up?
If we do, we'll see what we have on June 1st.
We have to schedule it, don't we? I don't know, she's
Oh, on June 1st, we're going to look at contracts and positions, and then we'll go back through and see where we are in the budget.
Ask general questions.
Yep, and that'll start at 6, 1 week from tonight.
And the 8th public hearing, and then
That's 2 weeks. No, 2 weeks from tonight, sorry, 2 weeks from tonight.
I think we should do what Ashley said.
Well, that's what I'm recommending.
Okay.
June 1, June 8, and then after that. Then June 15th is the next regular meeting, we can adopt. And if we don't adopt on June 15th, we can still have the rest of the month. We just have a special meeting. We can, if we're not ready on June 15th, we got the rest of the month. No, just need consensus.
Yep, I agree.
We good? Brian, you good?
Yes, sir.
June 1st at 6, 2 weeks from now, is the next workshop to look at contracts and positions. June 8th will be the public hearing. It's 1 week later, Monday at 7. And then possibly June 15th, we'll adopt during the regular meeting. So that's the timeline. Everybody's good? Ashley, you got it? All right.
6 p.m.
All right, that's it. That's it for discussion. Old business, item number 7, none, as usual. Item 8, new business, none. Now we're into 9, and Mayor Pro Tem will read the motion.
Motion to conduct a closed session pursuant to NCGS 143-318.11A3 to consult with the attorney on matters within the attorney-client privilege, to pursuant to NCGS 143-318.11A6 to discuss personnel matters, pursuant to NCGS 143-318.11A5 to establish or instruct the public bodies, staff, or negotiating agents concerning the position to be taken concerning the acquisition of real property.
That's the motion. We have a second.
Second.
All in favor? Seeing none opposed, we will go into closed session. We'll be back shortly. All right. Okay. All right, we've returned from closed session. We're back in open session. Do I have a motion?
Move to seal the minutes of the closed session until such time as the release of the information would no longer frustrate the purpose of the closed session and further action was taken that cannot be discussed.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Our meeting's adjourned. We'll be back June 1st at 6.